lengthy, so you're gonna have to bear with me. And hold on, big cat. Be patient, because I will keep coming back with the intel until you get what I've got to say. As we lead with a strong Florida water, let the Bajuju stay with them. You heard the bell for confirmation. As we dive in and see what's going on, darling dears. Siblings? Good God, you can have me what at the Tourette's? Let me ring my bell and clergy, so we can dive in, darling dears, as we unpack the planetary energies. There's a lot happening all at once with today's transits. A strong pull between earth and air, both moving things forward practically and courageously. The skullduggerous moon enters Capricorn while the sun is in Libra. There is a strong sense that we need to be brave. You need to be brave, blood. Brave. This can be a good time to take responsibilities more seriously and stick to your plan, darling dear. Your plan to get great. With a square between the sun in Libra and the domineering skullduggerous moon in Capricorn, there is a pull between structure and ambition. Pay close attention to the news you receive over the next few days, and don't give up on your dreams, darling dears. Mercury has gone direct in Virgo, ending the current retrograde with plenty of row and raw, darling dear. You had to row through all of that wickedness of the retrograde, darling dears. You had to get real with conversations. You might come to conclusions that you've needed to understand many years ago, darling dears. Please excuse the adverts, they just keep coming. The devil is a liar and working on my YouTube, trying to get me to what? Get stuck on what I'm saying. But anyway, let me carry on because it's trying to take my attention. As I was saying, Mercury goes direct in Virgo today, darling dears, giving you a chance to have a real conversation with yourself, right? And come to the conclusion what you needed to understand many years ago. This could completely change the direction of your internal compass. Never compromise your needs for the needs of others. It's important to choose your projects and your friends carefully, darling dears. It's important for making practical steps forward and making progress in your current plans. Siblings can be back front neck tabbers too, as we call in the energies of wisdom, guidance and protection from Father God, Mother Isis, ancestors, angels, way showers and spiritual guides. From Keetha to Malkuth, namaste. Energies, up, big cat. Up, I insist. Right, as I was saying, siblings can also be back front neck tabbers, merchants of slander, those that want to end you. Yes, baby, remember, Cain killed Abel. Why? Because of jealousy. But Cain killed Abel because Abel was the favored son. Also appeared to be favored in the Most High's eyes, darling dears. But when Cain killed Abel, he didn't believe or didn't even know that another son would still be put above him. Who was that? Seth. Seth, who is what? The head of the lineage of Noah, darling dears. Apparently Cain's lineage was what? Cursed because he killed his brother. But I digress, darling dears. I digress. I can't help it. I'm such a chatty cat, and there's no one to check me, boo. Sibling relationships. Ships. No, I meant shits. It wasn't a Freudian slip. I was playing on the words, darling dears. Sibling relationships can be very complicated. You don't get to choose your family blood. Well, not once you're here. You signed the contract before you got here to say that you wanted to be in this family to learn to evolve. Why? Because you're a volunteer. I told you. You've done it already. You was already at Shangri-La and you decided to go back one more time to do it again to see if you could get them to raise their vibration. But did they? No. Siblings are usually luck of the draw. Yes, baby. Sometimes your sibling can be your best friend, but that's very, very rare. Very rare. Very rare. Sometimes there's strangers who happen to live in the same house as you. And sometimes they're your worst enemy of all of the above, darling dears. Remember, Cain killed Abel. Never you forget that, darling dears, as we dive into this read. Because we've got to get it on. It was so hard getting it started. 555 on the counter, meaning full on changes afoot, darling dears. Let's get a rune before we kick off at a hot trot. You got two of them. A duo. When you cast runes, you read them from right to left. Well, guess what? Judgment is here, darling dears. Karma has found certain people's address. Why? The breakthrough they intended to get, darling dear, it didn't work. It just taught you to what? Break away and stand alone, darling dear. Alone. Not lonely, darling dears. Alone in your understanding of yourself. The judgment rune is also represented by the judgment card. This is Dagas, darling dears. In tarot, it speaks about what a divine calling on your life. It also speaks about your steps being ordered, as well as what that big pie of karma be delivered, darling dears. Maybe you are meant to be that agent of karma to that skullduggerous back front neck tubbing sibling who has yarn for hair, darling dears. Yarn for hair. It also speaks about your awareness, darling dear. It took time for you to what? Plan how to escape that situation and what? Burn that bridge, break up that archway, allow no returns. Remember, in the pet cemetery, you'll know the body, but the inside will be full of what? Hellfire and powder house, darling dear. Fire and brimstone, as well as a bit of sulfur, darling dears. I've told you, keep up. Dagaz is represented by the letter D, the numbers 80, 81, 82, and 83. Fire, water, and Pluto energy also reminds you that you are about to be liberated. Some people are unsure as to whether or not to give a sibling a second chance. Second chance? Second chance? You better use it like that man did in Oliver Twist when Oliver dared to ask for another bowl of that gruel. Nah, babe, there's no second chance. You haven't got the hairline for it, nor do you have the time on this Malkuf to try and what? Bend the matrix on someone else's behalf. Darling dear, what did they do with you when you was in their presence? Nastiness, darling dear. Wickedness. You also have what? Good golly and gosh, the Wheel of Fortune, darling dear. If you're going to get runes, let it be these. Let it be these. You've got Jera, represented, as I said, by the Wheel of Fortune, right? There was a price for your what? Peace, happiness, and hope. What was the price? Leaving them behind, darling dear. Dead as a dodo in the past. Why? Divine wanted you to have the what? The upper hand of the wheel, turning it in your favor, darling dears. There was a time when you was a thumber, when you was too young to understand that you had a voice, darling dears, that you could claim dominion over yourself, that you didn't have to put up with all of that wickedness. I'm telling you, siblings are so wicked. Those of you that watched my childhood trauma video, I spoke about being shot in the head with a pellet gun, right? In that same picture, I couldn't even smile properly. Why? Because my two front teeth was knocked out by an older brother and sister at the age of 2. I didn't receive my teeth back until I was 10. That same sister was the devil's strongest worker. She used to beat us up, right? And we weren't allowed to cry or make any noise. So that was another way of shutting me up, right? My mother used to go to her bed at 5:30 in the evening with her depression, straight after Crossroads. So just imagine, she had the whole night to terrorize us. Yeah. She used to make us what? If she had to wash our hair, it would be in freezing cold water. If we were sitting at the dinner table and we dared to eat our chicken last, we had to leave the table so she could eat what she wanted out of our plates, right? And then we had to close our eyes and open our mouth so she could spit in it every time. This same sister, because in the house we grew up in, we had a basement and removable stairs. She used to remove the stairs, screw out the light bulb, and leave us down there in the dark, darling dears, while she made ghostly sounds. This child was evil to her core, and her whole life and her progeny has what? Been an example of her evilness. But anyway, I'm telling you, you may think that your situation was just singular to you. Whatever you went through with these siblings, darling dears, I was right there with you, blood, but going through my own experience, my own paradigm. But we're going to talk about these back, front, neck, bottom feeders, these snake heads, these demons personified, these witches with no coven. As we dive in, darling dears, divine shows you judgment is afoot. Take heart, big cat, as you ride that wheel of fortune to whatever you want. Remember, I told you that you have greatness in you, and they put you on your back, but you was able to what? Look up and get up. Come through, Les Brown. Push, clap. Yes, baby. You understood that you could be bad alone. Come through, Shensia. Push, clap. And you understood that you was not going to do the what? The Black Eyed Peas and meet any of them at any borderline. Nah, babe. They were rapid with your hairline, and they will lie. They will lie, darling dears, as they try to recreate history. They will tell you things. Why are you bringing this up now? Why? Why? Because it affected you, darling dears. And the evil ones and their wicked, heinous crimes, they don't want it to be what? Highlighted. They want it to seem like you're just this way for no reason, when they don't look at their part and their hand in what they did, darling dears. Put you in, because of what they did to most of us, darling dears. This is why we chose abusive partners. This is why we always had fake friends, couldn't get along with friends, or chose friends that put upon us. It was because of them and their actions. And you must never what? Allow them back into your life. Don't. Otherwise, you're telling the universe, Father, God, Mother Isis, let me share in their karma. And remember, karma doesn't have a menu or a set address. Remember, I told you that. You couldn't leave your progeny with these people. Why? They will torment them and torture them, darling dears. Wheel of Fortune is on your side. Remember, I told you that. But you have to choose. We all have free will and free choice. Choose to be free, darling dears. Free. Free as the wind blows. What does your ancestors think about this? Look, the elastic band wasn't even on this one. Meaning what? You're on your own with this particular answer. Let's give it a quick spin and see what's going on. Your siblings can be so evil, darling dears. Evil. Where they will... Look what's on the base of the deck. Good golly and gosh. And 9, darling dear. Whatever they did to you, return that to sender. They hexed you, darling dears. They wanted you to be quiet as they did this and that. As they what? Perpetrated wickedness. I told you. I had 5 sisters. And I was the last sister. I've got 2 brothers. Well, I had 2 brothers. I don't deal with any of them, right? But I was the last female to have a child. None of them told me about the bleeding that you had afterwards, the things that would fall out your... Nobody told me about anything. Nothing. When I had my first daughter, Kenya, my mother didn't even come to the hospital. She didn't see my first child until I took a taxi to her house. What's the matter with these people? I don't know, but everybody must be left to their karma, darling dears. I speak the truth, Ruth. I told you that I'm going through some kind of what? Shadow work that has to do with childhood trauma. I told you it was affecting my left shoulder, which is dislocating the feminine side, yin energy, and it was the females of the family that was the worst. Until the brothers got older, then they put their 10 cents in, mate. Back front Nick Tabbers. And it's what? Sending it right back, darling dear. Return to sender. Your ancestors don't want you to carry any more what? Bellies for what they did to you, darling dears. A pregnancy that will never come to fruition. Some of you need to get the counseling. Some of you need to get the psychotherapy, darling dears, to get over what you went through in order to build healthier relationships. Because remember, the cornerstone that they refused was gifted what? With badass alchemist ways. You are able to bend the matrix and you can live again, darling dears. A happy, peaceful life. I'm telling you, but you have to look at what was before and pinpoint these areas so that you can release that inner child at the age where they hurt you the most, darling dears. That is how you will emotionally deal with things going on in life. Right. Let's get another card. Divine wants you to send it back to the what? The source, darling dear. Send that energy back. Transmute that energy. Don't sit in it. Don't wonder. Don't ask yourself why. No! They did what they did with sound mind. My sister chose to torment and torture us. And where was my mother? In her bed, sleeping after crossroads. Worst type, darling dears. The worst type. That know that they've got dominion over you and deliberately choose to what? Beat you up, right? Spit in your mouth, lock you in cellars, something their own self, nothing never. Oh, and another one she used to like to do to us, right? You see the landing, we had one set of stairs, you come up, and then there was a short step of stairs, and there was my mother and brother's room, but there was like a banister, and there was like a 12 drop between the stairs and the bottom of the banister. She used to make us hang from that. Yes, she put us with our two hands on the wood and let us hang from that. Just imagine this at the age of 3, 4, and 5. Then being shot in the head with a pet gun, right? Then being forced to go and live in America for 2 years with a child abuser, right? Then being brought back, darling dears, and being forced to be the parent and the carer of another sister who didn't care about having babies and dropping them off. I had to be a parent from the age of what? 9 going on 10. Cleaning bottles, changing nappies, cleaning up a house like a field hand. Another sister had us working like slaves, darling dears. Cleaning windows, washing her plates, looking after her children. Let me tell you something. Don't think that you're the only one, big cat. But you don't live there. Don't stay there too long. When Divine wants you to see these inner child wounds, go into it, get your core ball. Find your binary beats, whatever music suits you. Get your on, because that poison must come out. Lest you fall into the trap of treating your own progeny like that. I would never dream, and I would never allow my progeny to treat each other like that. Are you mad? Not while I'm alive, darling dears. Not while I've got breath. You don't allow your children to fight amongst each other and, oh, it's just brothers. No, babe. Somebody is being deeply wounded by those actions. And you as the parent, right? You chose to bring that baby, right? Even though they chose you as the parent, you chose to bring that baby. Don't let the other children beat up on one child. Single one child out. And those of you that have multiple fathers to your children, don't treat the favored child, the one with the father that chooses to be in its life, right? Don't treat that one better than the others. Everybody's got to share. What do you mean? Right, let me just check myself. Yeah, respect, darling dear. RESPECT. You teach people how to treat you. They didn't respect you, darling dears. Why? You had that fire, that spark. You had that unconditional love, which they what? Try to blacken and make it into a pit of wickedness, darling dears. Divine is giving you the tools, darling dears. With this what? Daggers. To be the what? Agent of karma. How do you do that? By having a successful life. By being peaceful. By what? Putting God first in every situation. By ensuring that the progeny you have, if you have more than one, that they treat each other with love, respect, and support. Outrageous. Now I'm sweating. I've gone straight past the perspiration blood, straight up to the sweating. Base of the deck, darling dears. Time for us to clear up a thing or two. About a thing or two. Every corner is going to get the tap of the brush as we dive in, darling dears. As we dive in. What deck shall I use? There's so many decks here. I'm going to use my original Rider-Waite. Taking this leap of faith towards a new beginning, darling dears. But you have to what? Want it for yourself. And when you leave and go towards your new beginning, darling dears, remember Erica Badu said what? Pack light, posh clap. You don't bring those burdens with you. You unpack those shiznais, darling dears. You face whatever they did to you, darling dears. And if you feel it necessary to tell them, they're not going to listen. They're going to tell you you're mad. They're going to tell you that you're lying, right? They'll tell you everything, including the fact that you're not a child of God, in order for you to go away. You write that shit down, darling dears. Write that down. Send a letter if need be, or burn it. But you get that poison out in order to go towards your new beginning. Don't be foolio in this, what stage of the game, darling dears. Don't carry those burdens. Uncover them, and you will uncover the path you were set on to get into all of this wickedness, as they try to dampen down that light of unconditional love that you brought to the tableau. Right. What was the siblings' part in the problem? Why did they make... what was the matter with them? Right? What's the matter with them? Why did they do what they did? Why did they do it? We've got the Knight of Cups, darling dears. Don't feel special, darling dears. They was wicked to all and sundry. This same behavior is what they would have perpetrated on anyone. This is someone who is what? A sociopath, somebody who's emotionally manipulative, right? Knight of Cups, yeah. Why else? Why else? Because they wasn't right in their cranium. When you see the Pentacles in the reverse, darling dears, they weren't right. This is somebody that was jealous of you. Yes, baby. They can be jealous when you all have nothing in the same mud hut. They will still be jealous of some kind of what? Iota of how your deportment, how your persona was, darling dears. They didn't like you. And in some cases, it was because the situation was what? You was born into a situation where it was what? Poor. You didn't have it like that, darling dears. And they took out their frustrations on you. Mad, sick, head no good. The Knight is also, because generally, when it comes to what sibling abuse, it's normally, according to studies, an older sibling that does this. Right. It could have been what? Financial constraints why they did this, but they did it to everyone. If they had a friend, they was backstabbing to the friend, darling dears. Why? What else? Right? They was never your friend, darling dear. They chose to do them things with a conscious mind. What they did to you, they did it on purpose. Gemini energy, the love is on its face. This is a bad partnership. This person or people were toxic to their core. They took out their lack in situations on you. Right. So what did... okay then. The next thing is somebody's going to say, well, what did I case? What did I do to deserve it? Nothing, darling dears. But we'll ask the cards. As I sip my mocha. Yeah. Made me work like a field hand. I remember having to clean that house from top to bottom, wash up all of her plates, wash all of the baby's bottles. And this wasn't a one-off. It was all of the time. All of the time. So what did the big cat do to them to deserve this? What did the big cat do? Look, 9 of Cups. You didn't do nothing, blood. You didn't do anything. You didn't do anything. And they saw the fact that you wasn't able to what? Defend yourself salty with your words and your communication. You didn't do anything to them, darling dears. You saw them as your wish fulfillment, maybe, as it was an older sibling. Right? You wanted to be like them. You wanted to be around them. But you didn't do anything, and you wasn't at an age where you could speak up for yourself, darling dears. And when you did speak up for yourself, what did the mother do? What was the mother's part in this? Shady bogady, darling dears. The moon energy is what? A frenemy, a back front neck tubbing snake, darling dears. Somebody who wanted to what? Use disillusionment, pretend it didn't happen, pretend they didn't hear certain things. They shut their eyes. The mother did nothing. Moon energy. And what? The mother's represented by the moon. Okay. Pisces and Cancer energy. The mother didn't do anything. Will the mother admit at this stage of the game that they did anything? No, babe, they will lie. They will lie, right? Blame it on others. And the fact that they didn't have any money. This is what it always boils down to, the fact that they didn't have any money. But what did you do to bring money to the tableau? Mother. That was no mother to a big cat. Folio. Yeah, they're a folio. They will lie, darling dears, and betray you. They won't tell the truth about the situation. And we've got lots of thruples. So there's sibling rivalry. This mother had a favorite, darling dear. A favorite, which she showed to others. This is coming out of isolation. This is what she showed her favorites in the crew, in the gang. Bottom feeder. What did the father do about this situation for whose fathers were around? What did the father do when you was being beaten and tortured by your sibling? Nothing either, darling dears. Judgment on its face. Let me tell you something. This is somebody who is what? It's the in and out energy. The judgment, because in the upright, this is somebody that kept coming back, darling dear. This is an absent father. This is the household that had an absent father. Yeah. The father wasn't there. Yeah. Not for the children. Sun card means the children, darling dears. This is an absent father. And even if they were there, darling dears, this father didn't do anything. They left everything up to the happenings of the mother, who was what? Off on a frolic of their own, darling dear. That's a legal term. When you're off doing things that you're not supposed to be doing. The father didn't do anything to help this child. And if you went and told them, darling dear, they'd tell you to go and sit down back. Yeah. They didn't do anything, darling dear. You was left to sort it out in your cranium. Major arcana. This is why karma has found all of their addresses. Trust and believe. Just because you don't see it, big cat, doesn't mean it's not happening. What do you need to do about this coven of bottom feeding ways, darling dears? What's the best thing for a big cat to do? Block them on everything. And stand your ground, Scotty. The cards don't ramp. My cards don't lie, big cat. I've told you many times. This is my calling. My Chiron is in Pisces. My Saturn is in Pisces. I had to learn how to heal myself. And this platform that I have on YouTube is to help someone else that's in my position. I had no one but the Most High, which is the best friend you can have in any situation. But my videos is what a survival kit for another big cat. Block them, darling dear. You don't compete where you don't compare. You are cut from a different cloth. Base of the deck. Wash your face like David blood. And keep it pushing. Keep it pumping. Right? Because they're still talking about you, darling dears, as you continue on. They think they've got all of the blades, darling dears, or all of the cards. What's behind that? Ace, the King of Swords. They're watching you, darling dears. This is Six of Swords. They're watching you what? Pay no attention, not communicating. They're watching you, darling dears. They would love for you to come back, but they're blocked. Block party, darling dears. Going on for you, big cat. They would love for you to come back, right? To that emotional situation. The King of Cups is somebody who hides King of Cups. King of Swords is someone who hides their emotion. King of Cups is about mastering your emotions. Freudian slip meant to come out, darling dear. You want to go back to these cold, calculating people. What would they do to you again if you allow them back in? What would they do if you allow them back in? These siblings, right? These shepherds of the devil's strongest worker. What will they do? The same thing as before, darling dears. They won't be nurturing. They won't be friendly. They'll be gossiping, jealous, darling dears. And if they've got progeny, their progenies are delinquents, darling dears. Or their progeny hates their guts. A lot of their progenies have cut them off, darling dear. Cut them off. Because they realize there is no true love there. This is someone or someones that don't love themselves, darling dears, and bled all of their hatred onto other people. Continue to wash your face like David. talking about these siblings. Gonna have me muttering like Muttley. Yeah. Let's get another deck. So about if you get a future contact, we already saw the block party, darling dears. If you get any future contact from these siblings, that is no one's friend but the devil's, right? This what? Son of what? Pennywise the clown. Or daughter. What about if they try to come back? They come back to betray you again, darling dears. They come to what? Mess up anything you've got going on. The Pentacles is to do with your mental health. It can affect your work, how you see yourself. Yes, baby, it will take you off your gangster. If you allow these wicked energies to come back after you've what? Got those flashbacks, remembered what they said, right? Got your core ball, right? After you prayed, took the knee and said, Father God, show me who needs to be away from me so that I can get great. They will come back and do it again, darling dears. Remember that. They'll do it again. Because they're obsessively jealous, darling dears. And this is you, the devil card in the reverse, having freed yourself from what? Codependency. You're not bound to them. And you're not bound to have any form of conversation or parlay with these what? Bottom feeders. I told you, they're hood-looking alfalfas. They come back to what? Be your... Get at your psychological password and be a tampon string in your life. Base of the deck, darling dear. Spying, bitter, and guess what? They're a page. A page. Puh! Listen, I didn't mean to spit on the screen. But baby, you know I'm not being dramatic. I'm just being me. And I have to what? Tell you in a hard way. I'm telling you like you're my siblings. Right? Because we're one big cat family, as our chronicles continues, right? Yes. If I had to minister to my own, well, you're not imaginary, you're real. I'm telling you, darling dears. Allow them, yeah? Allow them in their energy. Allow them and heal yourself. Divine will show you. Bring your true soul tribe to you. Blood is thicker than water, but water is the only thing you can drink, darling dears. These are blood suckers. These are high commander Decepticons, darling dears. And in some cases, these siblings, they were what? Sexually abusive. I'll leave it at that. Look. Saw it jump out again, darling dears. Page. Wah! Spying, lying, gossiping, a merchant of slander, darling dears, trying to stir up all of this and that. A situation that you've already broken away from, darling dears. Remember I told you that. And if you are in two minds whether to leave it alone, darling dears, leave it alone. You've got one life to live on this Malkuf. Why would you want to be around a double-minded person? These questions you have to ask yourself. James 1:8. Don't be a dummy bat, darling dears. Don't. Oh, a card just fell on the floor. Another reason this is representing a father, darling dears, as again is showing you your father. It must have been, if the father was in the home, it was like he was like a cardboard cutout, or this is one that's on its toes, darling dears. Somebody who left the situation in order to what? Keep their money for themselves, darling dear, and build again. Or guess what? Whomsoever that father was, they were betrayed and heartbroken at every turn. You can't have progeny out here in these streets and do nothing for their mental health, for their physical health, for their spiritual health, and expect everything to get great. What you did is on you. The hex they wanted to put on you, these siblings, when they did their wickedness, they thought, they got away with it. Why? Because you still stayed friends when you was adults and whatever, until you realized, why are you being friends with the devil's strongest workers? Why? Anything you bring to the tableau, darling dears, they will get their echo praxicon and try and doppelgang it. They're what? Double-minded. They're Agent Smith affiliates. Know them, darling dears. Judas is in a Peter suit that are broke, darling dear, and broken. And any stable relationship they've had since then, or since they did what they did to you, darling dear, has been what? Gone down Bobby Brown. Bombs over Baghdad. This is toxic to the 10th power, darling dears. They didn't get away with it. Look at their lives. Multiple fathers to their children. No real parental help from those fathers. Always living hand to mouth. Putting up appearances like Hyacinth Bucket. Not the bouquet, darling dear. This is Bucket, darling dears. Remember I told you that. Hypercritical. Some of them you're going to hear that are gamblers, darling dears. Some of them have gambled with their health. That's their business. It's their business. Right? And they're effing toxic. And they haven't changed. Not one Squidward. Nah, blood. They haven't changed. You've already put down that challenge, darling dears. Leave the burden where it is. Leave it where it is. Don't worry about what their comeuppance is going to be, darling dears. That is not for you to know. Sometimes divine might allow you to have a front row seat, but let it go. Find where they wounded you, darling dears, and address your inner child, the age you was when the deepest wound that this sibling did to you, darling dears, and minister onto that inner child in order to release your what? Your badass alchemist ways, darling dears. I want another deck because I want to see what exactly you're doing that's got these siblings, right, at hockey sticks at dawn as you ride the wheel of fortune. Let's get another deck. Do we go with my gold deck? Why not? Base of your deck, darling dear. You're celebrating and having a good time. Celebrating your feminine energy, going to parties. New beginnings, darling dears. New beginnings, emotionally fulfilled. What else is going on for the big cat? As long as they keep their shapely back turned. Law 16 of the 48 laws of power. Yeah. Highly intuitive. Some of you are using your psychic gifts, darling dears. But you can see the lid on this particular cup, right? Of unconditional. You've packed it in, mate. This is a focus on self. Your cup of love. Your cup of love. Hey! Right? You'd rather be single as fuck and drama-free, blood. 9 of Pentacles, as you focus on your own garden, your mental health, which is your wealth, darling dears. What else? And if they dare to come and speak to you, tell them the truth, Ruth. Pinkies up! I told you. There's no gray area, just the black and white of what they did and the fact that you're not having them back. Listen, you are as free as the wind blows, but you are only a prisoner to the past when you don't address the age, the child you was. Hold that child, darling dears. There's a thing called, what's it called? Because I was discussing it with my oldest daughter. I told you my oldest daughter is, she just completed a master's in criminal psychology and mental health. It's called the Schema. Yes, SCHEMA. It tells you how to what? Get rid of those bad childhood memories, darling dears. Try Schema. Yeah. If they dare come back, darling dears, you've got the sword of truth, right? It talks about clarity. It talks about communication. It also talks about your intellect. You've put a lid on your unconditional love, darling dears, that nurturing. And it also speaks about the loyalty to your own progeny, darling dears. And you prefer to be by yourself, mate, with the bird. Or giving them the bird of love and light. Nah, babe, you don't want nothing to do with them. Don't do it, darling dears. Don't worry, your progeny won't know them. They'll grow up and won't know who they are. And as you continue to keep your shapely back turned, what you are seeking and what you truly deserve will find you. This is the caduceus of balance, darling dear. Let them watch. Let them say what they want to say, darling dears. They will be coming in with hot words because you managed to break free of this skullduggerous paradigm that you was born into, the dysfunction, darling dears. The dysfunction. Leave those circumstances where you are not celebrated, where you are not recognized as being a human being with true feelings, goals, aims, and ambitions, right? Why? Because it's amongst folio, and I told you they're hood-looking alfalfas with yarn for hair. Continue to what? Pea glitter, shit cupcakes, and fart rainbows. I insist, big cat. I insist. Don't go back. Don't go back. And don't take them back. Use that broom to clear up, darling dears. You've got the Ace of Cups on its face. There is no emotional support or love in that situation. This is a cup that must be crushed under your what? Flip-flop of common sense. It's filled with hopium, darling dears. Emotional manipulation and lies. Don't go back. We go forward, just like Abraham Lincoln told us. Because all you do is win, babe. Big cat. All you do is win. Win, win, winner. Chicken dinner. Yes, baby. This is progress. Spiritual guidance. Don't look back. Remember Salt Bay, Lot's wife. I think Lot's wife is the most stupidest person. There's lots of stupid people in the Bible, but Lot's wife, after divine saved her and her man, right, from Sodom and Gomorrah, and said, just go forward and you and your lineage will live. What did she do? She looked back at Sodom and Gomorrah. Don't look back, right? Because all you'll see in the past is what? Pain, darling dear. You're gonna, if you go back and you try to get back into that situation, you're still gonna feel isolated, iced out. Yeah, they're not gonna, they will want you around to be the what? The black sheep, right? The tail and never the head. They will want you back so that you can hold on to the blade while they manipulate the handle, darling dears. No. Some of these siblings saw you broken mentally from an abusive situation that you got in because of their ministrations in your life, amongst other things, darling dears. They watched you go for it, darling dears. And when they watched you going through all of this wickedness, what did they do? Nothing. They did nothing. The ones is about the gossiping amongst others. These are merchants of slander. A sibling, if you tell them a deep secret, darling dears, they're not supposed to tell anyone else. But they got on there, what? Well, the horse is on its back, darling dear. It looks like a Flintstone car to me. But God heard everything they said and did, darling dears. You're a volunteer on this Malkuth. You were sent to uplift in this age of Aquarius where I know. That's the word for Aquarius, darling dears. I know where things are about to be revealed to us. The Hierophant Taurus energy speaks again to what the boundaries that you've created, which is affording you the life that you have right now, which is full of progress. Remember, I told you that. Leave them where they are, at the bottom of the pit. Don't look back. Remember Lot's wife, one of the most stupidest people in the Bible. Let's get one final deck and then I'm out of here. Any more intel that I need to impart on my besties before I push off, right? Look, this is where they are. Do you really want to go and help them out of spiritual jail? Really? When they're on the docket in Keitha, getting a kick in the spiritual nutsack? Do you really want to do that, big cat? Well, if you are, don't hit me up in the Gmail. Get me in the comments, darling dears. So all of the other cats can see exactly what you went back to after we told you don't do it, blood. There's nothing that can't be made right in your life. You don't need someone that hates your guts looking after your children. You'll find someone else. Trust? Listen, what does it say behind the trust? They better trust and believe that you are the agent of karma for they, them, and blood. Remember, I told you that. Continue to be happy, big cat. Happiness is an inside job. Continue to love your progeny if you have them. And if you don't have them yet, your future progeny to come. Some people are going to choose not to have progeny because of how their parents and siblings treated them. But listen, don't let nobody put a regulation on your procreation, yeah? If you feel you want to bring that baby, you bring that baby. But remember, you have a strong responsibility to take care of them. The first 7 years of a progeny's life is what will shape them into adulthood. Pay attention, big cat, please. Because when you have these progenies in these abusive situations, it's a lot of hard work you have to do once you've gotten out of it to get them back on the right track. Remember, I told you that. Yeah. Continue to ghost them, yeah? Do a full-on Casper, yeah? You're going to do the Kaiser Soze without killing everyone. Because Kaiser Soze ain't ramping. When this man did something to his wife, it's a film called The Usual Suspects, right? And Kaiser Soze is supposed to be this really bad gangster. And these people wanted to take over his cartel. So they broke into his house when he wasn't there and raped his wife. You know what raped means? In front of his children. Well, Kaiser Soze came back. And they was holding, I believe they was holding a gun to his child's head. When he stepped into his house, everybody was crying, right? He saw that his wife had been deflowered in front of the children. You know what Kaiser Soze did? He took out his gun, killed his wife and all of his children, and all of the men in the room except for one of them, to go back so that this one that he left alive could go back and tell everyone, right? Whoever sent the people here, I'm coming to kill them and every member in their family and anyone that owes them money. He killed everybody, but nobody ever saw him. Don't go to that extreme, because Big Cat must be free. We ain't got time for prison. None of us wants to meet R. Kelly in the flesh, not at this stage of the game. And remember what Akon said, they will lock you up and they won't let you out, and they won't care if you've got lace front there. No, they won't care. They'll put you in a jumpsuit, darling dear. That is not flattering. It's not flattering. So ghost the situation, darling dear. Ghost the situation. But do the what? The work, the shadow work. These things are coming up at this time because divine wants you to level up, darling dears. You're about to what? Be poised for greatness. Whatever you've been working on, this is something that is going to what? Keep coming back. And the dis-ease in your body, this emotional trauma will show up in your body as pains. Things being dislocated like my shoulder until I got down to this feminine energies that was so wicked to me in my formative years. I had to work it out, darling dears. And this cobalt, listen, it's got mileage on it, lad. Because when certain things come up, I was like, whoa! I had to do the matrix. Yeah. And then I put it on a post-it note. Because I told you, if you make it to a post-it note in my house, things ain't going to work out between me and you. I didn't have to write down every major disgusting thing, but it was like ripping off the band-aid, darling dears. Everything started to be shown to me in living color. Some siblings are just wicked to the core. But remember, Zemblanity and karma has found their address. They'll be fagans to the truth. But remember, you can't get past God. You can't. And karma will surely find them at some stage of the game. Maybe not in your eyesight, but deal with what? Healing thyself from the inside out, so you can truly call in what you truly deserve. In some cases, it's a Skrilla.com. And we've also got grandparents that were abusive as well, darling dear. Good God. And every one of them is in court, prison, right? And need to be told, somebody needs to go to the police about this situation. Something to do with the touching. We saw the devil card in the reverse, darling dears. Yeah. On that note, do we have any more cards? Would you like one more card? Let's leave it on a more uplifted, yeah? Let's get all of this off the table. My bestie, agent of karma. Your happiness it's a sticking at them throat. Your Skrillas, it's a sticking at them throat. The fact that your progeny is being happy, it's a sticking at them throat. Let it stay stuck in at them throat. Yeah. Let's get another card to finish this on a high note. I'm going to give you the chance. We've got this deck. We've got the moon. We've got divine doors. We're going to mix it up and I'm going to give you quite a bit to choose from today, darling dears. 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5, or 6 to finish out the read. First one to come through, you'll be the one that I'll go with, darling dears. Bestie. Which one would you like? One. Audra Dye came in with a strong 4. You want this one? Okay, Audra. Sorry, everybody. Audra came out first. First come, first serve. Yeah. We don't want no fighting in the comments. Not in the comments. As we finish this read, base of the deck, something is coming towards you very soon, darling. It better not be these bottom feeders. You better what? Zip up into your hole. Ephesians 6:13, spiritual armor, darling dears. Remember, Peter 5:8, to be of a sober spirit and alert, and on the alert up in this bitch. I said lurch. Lurch is from the Adams family. That's what they're going to look like, blood. They're going to look like lurch, trying to get in to your technicolor life. Yeah. Remember what Joseph's brothers did to him. And if they could do that to Jesus, what makes you think he was any more special, darling dears? Baby. Yeah. What's this? Chemistry and releasing your ex, darling dears. Let me tell you something. Their chemistry don't go with yours, blood. You need to let these the ex, as I said, we're talking about siblings, leave them where they are. They're already suffering. They're going through it, darling dears. But it's a generational thing. They're going to watch their progeny go through it, darling dears. What they did, they may have gotten away with it with you, darling dear. But divine brings in divine timing, and nothing will happen before its time. Release the energy to them, cut the soul ties, burn the bridge, change your address, move to a different GPS, or just get your Easter Island and Stevie Wonder in, right? Move forward, darling dears, and don't look back. Don't be Salt Bay, and don't invite the devil back in. Look! What did I say? Very soon, they want to heal some issues with you, blood. You deserve love. Listen, you're coming in weaponized, mate. What did I tell you about prison? We can't go to prison. So this looks like Sagittarius with the bow. Yeah. They're going to try and heal issues, darling dears. But there's some issues. This is spirit in the back saying there's some issues that you have to leave it broken on the floor. Just like when a mirror breaks, darling dears. You can put it together, but you'll always see the cracks. And you will always remember what they did. But you're remembering it, right? And you've got a whole adult's body with adults. And you've got the jazz hands. You've got the jazz hands, right? So there's some issues you just got to leave dead in the water. On that note, I drops me mic. Toddle over to my Teesprings, toddle over to my Patreon, or simply come back here. And as I always say, don't get smoked. Don't worry about it, baby. Divine is going to make them put respect on your name, blood. Yeah. As they get their day at the police station and court and prison, right, on Keitha and Malkuth. Remember I told you that. Don't get smoked, and don't smoke yourself. From the ashes, baby. Namaste. Big cat wave. Until we meet again on these tarot streets.